Hello, 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 hello. Hopefully you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me? Hi, Kathy. How are you? She's the first person I see. Hello, hello, hello. Make sure you guys can hear me. Let me know if you guys can hear me. I want to make sure my sound is okay before we get into it. Hi, Tammy. How are you? Hello. Hi, Leah. How are you? You guys don't forget to like and share. We'll greatly appreciate that. Hi, Amy. Hi, Nancy. Hi, Lynn. Okay, you guys can hear me. Okay, perfect. I just switched to my headphones right before we went live. Okay, you guys can hear me. Perfect. So I'm back. I took a little break. I wasn't sure if you guys saw that video because I posted a video saying I was going to take a little break. I have some issues, not issues. I have some things going on at home or in my personal life that I can't really discuss right now. And I know it's killing me because I talk about everything with you guys. I am an open book, but this involves other people in my family. So therefore I have to respect their wishes and I cannot talk about it yet, but I promise you that you will be the first to know when I can, because I will talk about it and I will go fucking ham on it. Anyways, hello. So I took a little break. It wasn't a very long break. It was probably a little week, maybe a little more. But I took a little break and now I'm back. Because I'm going to do what I love, right? There's a lot going on. So I had to catch up on a lot of stuff. There were things that I didn't know. So I was like, what am I missing? What's happening? We're going to talk about it. So while I was gone, there's been a whole lot of discussion about Kim Klacik and Candace Owens. And that's kind of where we're at right now. So I started, myself, Chris and Jantisha started kind of sharing stuff in our own personal group chat and started going back and forth. Hi, Blake, how are you? Hi, Marla, how are you? Hi, Samantha. Hi, Linda. Hello, everyone. Don't forget to like and share this video. We'll greatly appreciate it. But so there's been a lot going on. I've been hearing messages. I've been getting a lot of messages like, hey, what are your thoughts on this? And I was like, well, I don't really know because I don't know what's happening. So let me look into it. So before we do a video, we'd like to look into it and kind of get a little bit of information just to give you our opinions. Again, what we're saying is not facts. We're giving you opinions. We're going to give you both sides of the coin, right? I think there's always three sides to a story. There's his, there's hers, and then there's the truth, right? Somewhere in the middle lies the truth. So I'm going to wait for Chris and Jantisha before we get into it. So in the meantime, I'm going to say hello. Hello, how are you guys? Hey, friend, what's up, boo? So that being said, we stated that we would always honor a fallen officer. So while I am waiting for Chris and Jantisha, we'll get that part of the show out of the way. But hello, I'm glad to see you guys all here. I'm glad to be back. It feels great to talk to you guys and do these shows for you guys. So let me share this page. Give me a second. We are going to start with honoring a fallen officer. Jantisha, Chris, and myself said we would make sure that we honored one every show. We are not going to veer from that ever. So let's do that while they are getting ready. I'm going to share my screen. This is the Officer Down Memorial page. You can go on there. They always have pretty accurate information. So that being said, these are some of the fallen officers within 2021. You can view a total list of it, a list of them. You just click the screen right here and it will take you to it. So it'll give you all the officers who were killed in the line of duty. Currently in 2021, right here, there has been 28 that were shot. There were 4 that died as a result of being assaulted. Excuse me. 2 of them were stabbed to death. 10 of them were struck by vehicles. 13 of them were in a vehicular assault. So those are probably the most violent ones. There are other ones, 911 related illnesses, automobile crashes, COVID-19, drowning in the line of duty trying to save someone else's life, duty related illnesses, heart attacks, motorcycle crashes, training accidents. There was one training accident. So that is what it looks like right now. Gunfire, not to say that they are not all heroes. They are all heroes, period. I kind of like to talk about the ones that were killed by gunfire only because people, the regular media doesn't like to talk about it. So we are going to, let me switch back to StreamYard real quick because I can't see if Chris could see me. All right, you guys just let me know when you're ready. Are you guys ready? They are ready. So before we start, let's welcome the dynamic duo, Chris and John Tisha. Hello.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
So I think we all kind of took a little vacation. It's been a while.
We all took a little break. I'm hearing like music or echoing or something. It sounds like a conga drum.
Oh, because we're moving the mic.
Oh, okay. I was like, damn, they're jamming over there. Hi, Tina. How are you? So, this is the. Let me go back. So this is the Officer Down page. Today we are going to talk briefly and honor this officer right here. This is Officer Gordon Beasley. Before I get into this story, I read it earlier today. It is very sad, actually, for more than one reason, and I will explain to you why. So this is Police Officer Gordon Beasley. He worked for Arvada Police Department in Colorado. His end of watch was May 21st of 2021. Again, this story is sad for more than one reason, and as I read it, you will see why. Police Officer Gordon Beasley was shot and killed at about 1:30 after having responded to a suspicious events call near the Arvada Library in the 7500 block of West 57th Avenue. While Officer Beasley was checking the area, a subject who had expressed a hatred for police arrived and saw him. The subject retrieved a 12-gauge shotgun from his vehicle, approached Officer Beasley from behind, and opened fire, killing Officer Beasley. A Good Samaritan, Mr. Johnny Hurley, heard the shots, rushed to the area, and fatally shot the subject prior to the arrival of backup officers. Mr. Hurley picked up the rifle to secure it, but was mistaken for the original shooter and was fatally shot by responding officers. Officer Beasley had served with the Arvada Police Department for 19 years. He was the SRO at Oberman Middle School, but was assigned to patrol during the summer break. He served 19 years on the police department. So he made the ultimate sacrifice, and tonight he is our hero. And names like Gordon Beasley should be remembered from here on out. Thoughts, comments?
I am. Give me just a second and we'll get the banner up for the show. There we go. Man, I feel like this week off is just, it's been what, about a week and a half since we've been on. I know last week we were on vacation.
I am going through it, you guys. I'm so hot. I'm so hot over here. I'm so sorry.
and we haven't even got our big heat wave. Colorado. Let's see.
On what, dude?
Can you guys see the banner? Because I can't see it. Can you see the banner? I can't see it.
No.
I can't see it either.
You put one up?
No, I thought Chris was going to.
He can't do it from this side.
I was going to send you the information to put it up, but I'm trying to get to the page.
Okay.
Sorry.
I got it. Sorry, you guys. Bear with us a second.
So, just to keep things going, Janet, when does it stop? Too many officers are being killed on the line of duty. I was thinking that same thing too when we first jumped on, and Charlie was going over the stats, and it's sad. I don't mean to be like this, but I don't think we're ever going to 100% get away from loss of life. Things are going to happen. It would be nice to say, hey, will the ones where the officers are getting shot by these criminals, when will those stop? But we're never going to 100% shake bad people, evil people. It would be nice if it could just dwindle down to maybe a few and not as many as we've had. But with that being said, I mean, we're here and hopefully it doesn't get worse than what we're experiencing this year and what we experienced last year. Hopefully by the end of the year, things start to dwindle down because we're out of an election year, and hopefully things won't be so political to where we're not watching these numbers continue to rise.
Yeah. And unfortunately, they are rising right now. It is extremely sad. But let's all say a prayer for his family. And let's just hope that they're less and less as the year progresses. Yes. So we are going to get into what we're here for. So we are going to talk about Candace Owens and Klacik. Kimberly Klacik is her correct name. So while we've been gone, there's been like some kind of drama going on back and forth. I didn't know a lot about it, so I had to like watch the videos and kind of, where's my notebook? Did I bring my damn notebook? Yeah, I did bring my notebook. No, I got it. Hold, please. Let's go over here. Okay, I got my notes. Boom, I was studying today. Okay, so if you can pull it up for me, can you go to minute 3 on the Candace one? So I watched both videos. We're not going to watch the entirety of Candace's videos. We're going to play certain parts when she talks about things that we're going to talk about today. And then we are going to play Kim's video, which is very short and to the point. And then we're going to speak on it. Okay? So we might have a few other guests that join us. But we will add them as they jump in. So we're going to play the video first, and then we're going to talk about it. Okay? So the Candace video is lengthy because she talks about multiple things, but we're going to play the parts that I think are the most important and get into it there. We're going to give a little bit both sides because I think that you need to hear both sides before you make. I don't even think you have to pick sides, to be honest. I just think, you can make your own judgments. Everyone's entitled to opinion. That's kind of how I feel. but I think that it should be a well-informed opinion. So let's get into it. If you can start at minute 3.
I'm just going to keep hitting her. So this entire story obviously starts with Kimberly Klacik. She notoriously ran in Baltimore. I think she's running again. I don't think she will be after this investigation on this video. But, you know, she just came after me on Twitter one day and about me saying that Juneteenth is a scam. It is. Again, dailywire.com/subscribe. Use my code Chrissy. And tonight's episode, I will unpack why Juneteenth is a scam being orchestrated by Democrats. And it's not about celebrating Black freedom, but she was upset by these comments and she made an allegation about me and said that, you know, Candace doesn't do anything with the Black community. I'm paraphrasing here, but Candace doesn't do anything for the Black community. She's not around the Black community. And I basically responded and was like, listen, I'm not, you know, a part of the group of people that are grifting hundreds of thousands of dollars from Republicans. And it was this tweet that sent me on a search because she answered, and I want you to look into this yourselves. She answered and she said, well, I said to her, like, I run a charity. I raise money for, you know, Black people whose businesses were destroyed during the Black Lives Matter riots, which I did. We raised over 6 figures for Black businesses that were destroyed. We obviously employ a ton of minorities. It's not a requirement. It just happens to be that usually, you know, somebody on the ground will get super involved with Brexit, and then we'll say we should actually hire them as an employee. So right now, all of our employees, barring one, are actually minorities. It just, you know, we're in over 30 states. We have state leaders all across the country, and we do. Is that working? Is everybody getting me on? It just told me that this paused. Just want to make sure I get better service. I don't want to start this and then have people say that they can't see things. So yeah, so basically, you know, Brexit, we have an event this weekend in Birmingham, Alabama. Like, there's just like, you know, we are doing a ton of work, and I've worked really hard to build this organization over the last 2 years. We officially got our 501c3 last year. That's neither here nor there. So she responded to that and she made a comment that was really weird. She said, I have a charity and I have placed over 200 women, minority women, into job careers. And I thought that was a strange comment because I know how hard it is to get a charity off the ground. And, you know, I just said something about that just didn't really sit right with me. I was like, oh, I've never even heard about your charity. Like, what is it? And I asked her for the name privately and publicly, and she didn't give it to me, but somebody in the comments gave it to me. And the charity, if you are using a pen and a paper right now, is called, what is it called? Something me, like particular me. It's like something weird like that. I can't think of the name. You guys can look it up. I can't even think of the name of the charity right now. Gosh, I should really have this on the tip of my tongue, but it's such a weird name. It's like P something me or whatever. And so I looked into this charity and, you know, just asked her for the tax ID number tons of times. She was like, I can't get it to you right now. I'll get it to you later. Like, all of this stuff, just being like, hey, what's the name of your charity? This is great work. I said, you know, she said that I don't have enough people on my show, you know, from underserved communities. So I said, we'll highlight your charity, come on the show. And I finally looked into the charity because as a charity, you have to file all of your documents online, and it's very easy to discern what's a real charity and what's not. And when I first looked up the charity's name, on its Facebook page came up, and the Facebook page basically just had her personal cell phone number listed, and it was a bunch of pictures of people that were holding clothes that she had picked up. Like, we're picking up more clothes and we're giving them to people. I guess the idea is that she dresses them, you know, for their professional career. And so it's very obvious that, yes, she has picked up a lot of clothes. That's what you can discern from looking at this charity. Weird thing, though, is that when I pulled up the filings, despite this charity being around since 2013, she had only filed 3 tax returns, which is super unusual. And when I looked at the tax returns, she claims that she made no money last year, no money this year, but that she made $6,000 in 1 year that she filed, and that money was used to help girls get their makeup done for prom. So like nothing close to what she's saying online, nothing about placing women into career positions. I asked her to give me the names of the people that, you know, the website is defunct. So there's no website, nothing exists other than her word saying that potential me. Thank you to the person who just wrote that. It was called Potential Me. So sorry guys, I just like blew my nose before I came on here. So yeah, it's called Potential Me. And there's no website. She cannot give you the 200 people's names that she placed into professional careers. And she instantly deleted that tweet once I asked her for more information on it. And then I said to her, like, you know, why isn't the website working? She said to protect the people. Like somehow she said that people are vulnerable and that even me looking into this charity would make these women even more vulnerable. So she's using this, like, you know, I have to protect the women. I have to protect the women, which is such a tactic. Like, okay, give me the name of the corporations that you work with, 200 women being placed in jobs. She can't give me anything. And she basically then says, you know, well, I'll have somebody look into your charity. Okay. It's called Blexit. Go for it. We have a whole website. We have employees. Like we do public filings. Like you do your thing. Go look into Blexit. So obviously to me, I then searched the Potential Me, and I see that she has a PayPal account. And the PayPal account says that she collects clothes and she sells them on eBay for profit. And then she gives the profit to women in need. So that's not what she says on Twitter. It's not what she says on her IRS filing. So why is there an eBay account that she's allegedly selling clothes on? And where is the money from that account? Because apparently she's only made $6,000 according to the 2014 filings. But the pictures look like she's picked up a ton of clothes. So in my head, I'm like, okay, like she probably is running like a little bit of a charitable scam. Like that was my thought. Like that's my like opinion, where she's just picking up clothes and selling them on eBay and pocketing the money. And that's why she doesn't want to give me any names or anything, but like, who cares, right? This is like petty stuff. Like in terms of the scheme of things, running a charitable scam for 10 years, you know, it's bad, but doesn't raise to the level of like, oh my God, this is crazy. So I asked her to come on the show, and she was very hesitant and said she was booked until August and like said all this stuff. And so I asked her if September would be better. And when I said the word September, she freaked out, and it was so weird. And she was like, that's not funny. And I was like, what's not funny? Like, you just said you were booked till August. Can you do September? And she said, oh, it was this whole legal battle I had, like, never mind. Which brought me to find, after I was looking into her charity, a clip on The View, of all places, where Sunny Hostin is commenting on Kimberly Klacik, and she says, like, all I'm going to say is September. Is it September? I'm paraphrasing. Is it September? And I was like, what is with this word September? Like, why is this like a Kimberly Klacik buzzword? So I do a little digging, and I find out that Kimberly Klacik was a stripper named September, and that her husband was the manager of the strip club. It's a strip club in the Baltimore region in Maryland. And allegedly they met stripping, and like she was the person who helped bring a lot of strippers into this club. And so I thought, wow, this is really interesting, because this person attacked me and said that I am a bad look for the Black community. I'm not good for the Black communities. I don't want to celebrate Juneteenth. And yet the debauchery that happens at a strip club, the vulnerable women that are at strip clubs, and the idea that you married someone who was the manager of the club kind of seems like maybe something relative that Republicans should know. None of them know this. And you've raised $8.2 million talking about family values. And I researched to confirm that her husband was the manager of the club. It was an old listing in the Maryland page, Maryland white pages that had him listed as the manager of the club. So all of that checked out. And there were pictures of her in the strip club, a lot of pictures of her in the strip club, about 5 pictures, plus a stripper of her holding a picture of her holding a bunch of singles, which I will maybe post later. And she's just holding a bunch of like ones, and she's in like a very suggested outfit, and she's in front of the strip club, in front of the strip pole. So just seems a little off brand for someone who has just said that, you know, she supports family values and like she really cares about Baltimore. Like, if you really care about Baltimore, why are you in the inner cities doing this? Because we know what strip clubs are about. And that's not to say that you can't be a stripper and reform yourself, but this isn't that story, right? She's not like she's come out and talked about being a stripper, and she's upset that I'm not celebrating Juneteenth and is saying that I'm bad for the Black community. So I'm like, that's a little like ironic, right? It's just a little bit ironic. Like, okay. So the person, because I wanted to confirm that she was a stripper before I put that, you know, even put that out there, and I wasn't even sure if I was going to put it out there, I wanted to source like where these pictures were coming from, and I came across another stripper who works at the club currently. And I just asked her outright, does Kimberly Klacik work at this club? Like, are these images doctored in any way? And the woman came back, and she's a very proud stripper, and she still strips. And she said they're 100% not doctored. I know her very well. I have partied with her in the strip club. Like, I've worked with her in the strip club. Her and her husband have been scamming people for millions. And she said, and I'm going to be very strong, that there's no way that Candace Owens, can confirm this, but she said it to me in writing, that they used campaign money to do cocaine in the strip club. And she said I have all the receipts and I can prove it, sort of a thing. And I was like, whoa, okay, well, that's different, because what this stripper is alleging would be a crime, obviously. And I can't possibly verify that information. Like, there's no way to verify that. Give me 1 second. I just need to literally blow my nose. Hold on.
You can stop it right there. Just don't take it down.
Hey, so I just said the same thing. I think we could pause right there.
Yeah. So far, this is what I have from it. And again, this is just my opinion. Opinions are like buttholes. Everybody has one. So what I'm getting from this was, originally, I guess it started with Candace.
Sorry.
Candace posted a video talking about Juneteenth. Kim Klacik tweeted, and then they started kind of going back and forth on Twitter.
Yeah.
Which led up to this video that Candace put out. We'll get more into the video, but I want to touch about what they've been talking about so far, or what Candace has been talking about. I am going to give you guys Kim's version of it, because I think it's only fair and it's only right to give both sides.
Here, go ahead. Go back to yourself.
So what I have at the moment is,
okay,
I will say, I like Candace Owens. I think she's super smart. I think she is on point. And I will say, I think she is the wrong person to mess with, period. Because her level of education is sometimes I'm taken back by things that she knows. So that would be one that, if you're gonna go for her, you better go hard or go home, because Candace is coming out and it's gonna be ugly. I will say that. But now, that's not to defend Candace, because I will say, I thought there were parts of this video that were petty. Some of it came off a little bit catty to me, a little bit on the petty for me. I will say this. I personally don't care that Kim Klacik is a stripper or was a stripper. That's her past. I don't care necessarily about that. I'm not an extremist where that's against my Christian beliefs, damn you to hell, blah, blah, blah. That's not me, period. So I don't care if she was a stripper. I do understand Candace's point when Candace says, then be transparent about it. Because if that's your story, right, and you've had a come up, then say that. You know what I'm saying? So I get that part of it. Now, Rob, what is hearsay? The fact that she was a stripper, she's openly admitted it now. And that's the only thing I think I've talked about so far.
You have anything?
So, yeah, for me, I did find...
She was talking to Rob.
I was talking to Rob. No, I was talking to Rob.
Gosh, you just sat down. Just follow along.
I hot mic'd it.
Oh my God.
Her tactic is professional. Are you talking about Candace's? No, what Candace was saying at the end about what the other stripper was saying. Oh, okay. Right, because if there's no receipts, then it's just hearsay. You're right. You're absolutely right. I agree with you, Rob. Sorry. But as far as like the stripping thing, I personally don't care if she was a stripper in the past. Do I think that she should be transparent? Yes. Because especially in politics, people are going to come for you. If you are anywhere in a public platform, they are going to come for you. So you should get ahead of all of that. So I think that's kind of where we're at so far.
What are you doing?
What do you guys think?
You did it again.
No. She said my buzzword. She said November. Stop.
Oh my god.
Those days are in the past.
His name was November.
Jeez, man.
Anyways, stay on subject.
So no, so to what you were saying, right? I think I'm with you, and I know, like in our group chat, like I think we all kind of agreed. I know Brittany even brought it up, and she said the same thing. Good points. There were some parts where I'm like, I don't think you. I'll say a little petty, like maybe you didn't have to go that far, but I mean, how do you get from A to Z? So if she's trying to drive a point home, she had to bring up some of that stuff, but. For me, in order for me not to be hypocritical, I would have to do the same thing. So it was like, if any of you guys listened to my whole thing about what's that guy's name that's running for California governor? Bruce Jenner. I mean, Caitlyn Jenner. If I know people disagreed with what I said, but I held the stance of why couldn't he change? Why couldn't he make a life choice and then go, you know what? Maybe this isn't right. Maybe kids shouldn't go through it, and take a different approach. Or maybe he really does believe, wait till they're 18. I feel the same thing with Kim Placid. Like, hey, maybe she was a stripper and she's changed, and maybe she wants to do something better for whatever her reasons are, redemption or she doesn't. Maybe it's a personal thing, whether she believes in God or not. Maybe she had a light bulb go off and she realized that, hey, maybe the reason why there's so many people, especially minorities in the type of communities that they're in, are because they've been fed a bunch of lies. Maybe she just had that epiphany. And her past is her past. And I don't think, I know I'm not judging her on her past, but also if you're stealing, theft is theft. So you could have been a stripper, okay. Not going to hate on you for being a stripper, but if you're stealing money or you're taking money, however you want to say it, that's wrong, and that's the part that I think needs to be the focus.
But even if she was, that's not what Candace was talking about. Like, that wasn't her point. Her point was that Kim was bringing in young women to be strippers, number one, and number two, she was talking about the husband being the manager of the strip club. That was the point. And the fact that what her whole baseline of what she was running off of was family values and
Correct.
all that. That was the point, though. Because at one point...
I missed that?
Yeah, you were over there doing whatever, and then you want to come over here. Anyways, she straight up was like, all of that, whether she was a stripper or not, she's like, that doesn't even matter to me. The point that she was trying to make was XYZ, what I just said. And that was her point. Like, if you're going to represent family values, helping young women to change their life and all those things, then if that's what you came from, like, be upfront about it so that people can relate to you and understand where you're coming from, versus trying to cover it up as if you did something wrong and like you're still ashamed of it or something, which I get and I understand. But my question is he still a manager for that place?
Well, I know her and her husband moving forward. I know her husband and her split up. We'll see that in her video. She'll talk briefly about it. We are going to play her video at some point, but they also talked about the charity that she has, that she said she started in 2013. So she started a charity in 2013. It is called Potential Me. The website has been taken down. Kim Klacik's thing is that she's taken it down to protect the identity of these women. Supposedly she helped 200 women like get back on track, get back into, do things positive, push them forward. Only one tax, since 2013, only one tax return has been filed, and it was in the amount of $6,000. And it was for makeup for prom for girls. So based on Candace's experience and what she knows about charities and how hard they are to get up and running, she finds it unbelievable. And she does say, it's my opinion. And again, I'm not trying to say that I agree with everything Candace says, but I did feel she was a little petty and threw some little low blows. But I think that's just kind of where this got to, right? So it is what it is. But she raises good points. And we're going to kind of get into those next.
Right. And Charlene said that was one point. Campaign funds was the main point. Yes. I was just saying what we listened to, that little clip that we listened to
so far.
Point was about time, which I'm sure that's where we're going. Do you want me to press play? Are you ready?
Yes. Yep, I'm ready. Hi, Nina.
That she wasn't using her campaign funds appropriately. So obviously the next step, to me, the obvious step, and this is where it just gets crazy, insane, is let me just look at her filings. Like, she just ran for Congress. I'm like, the stripper can't make this allegation. I should be able to see some weird spending on her FEC report. I now invite you all to pull up Kimberly Klacik's FEC disbursements report. You just have to go to literally fec.gov. It's very easy to use, probably the only easy website our government has. And you can look in the search bar and you can type in Kimberly Klacik. It'll pop up and it will show you every single dollar that she has spent in her campaign, because they have to. The irony being that there was all of this firestorm that the left was looking into her campaign financing, because she notoriously raised about $8.2 million because of that video of her strutting down the street. And it's a late game in life for a 40-year-old woman. She's 40 years old, decided she wants to run for Congress and be this vocal Republican. And she raised all of this money, and the Washington Post and all these people were looking into her finances, and they kept looking at this company that had gotten the most money out of her, $4 million. And it actually is a legit company. That's what they determined from all of the search. I know the company, I'm aware of it. So that actually wasn't shady. It was just that company got lucky because of the way that they structured the campaign. And they got a ton of money. And so the Washington Post kept looking at that company, and they never looked at any other company on her sheet. And I did. So the first thing that jumped out at me, I basically just sorted it by the most, the biggest checks that she wrote, and that were offered her company. And she pays her manager a ton. Okay, fine, totally fine. Manager/treasurer. But the first thing that really jumped out at me on the FEC reports, again, you can look this up yourself, was that on November 5th, after the election, she wrote, they wrote off a disbursement for $119,000+ to Pearl Events. That was the name of the company. And if you look at the receipts, she wrote it as a meet and greet. So I don't know, maybe I'm just not rich enough. I can't fathom in my head why a meet and greet with a congressional candidate would cost $119,000. But I tried. In my head, I said, okay, maybe this is for the whole season, and this is the only firm she used, Pearl Events, and somehow they, are saying it's $109,000, which sounds like a scam to me, like Pearl Events. But then I look further down in her receipt, and she's got tons of meet and greets, and they all cost $1,000, $2,000. That sounds about right. $119,000 at the very end seems like you're trying to move money off the books to me, right? So I'm like, all right, well, let me look into Pearl Events. That seems like the next logical thing to do. Obviously, it's a business. So all you have to do, it says it's a Maryland company. She put the address of the Maryland company on there. And so I just looked up, I went to the Secretary of State website, because all businesses have to file to maintain their business registration. So I went onto the Maryland website, I look up Pearl Events. And what do I find? I find that this is a company that has been forfeited. It's not a real company. It did not, because it refused to file tax returns over years. Maryland revoked it. It's called forfeiting the company. So it's legally not a company. It doesn't exist, essentially. And yet but of course, if your company gets forfeited by the state, Secretary of State, your bank accounts don't magically close. So whoever is behind this, still has the bank accounts, and they have taken $119,000 from Kimberly Klacik for a meet and greet. Okay. So you're thinking maybe Candace, maybe Kim didn't know and she used this company, Pearl Events. Well, even more weird is I look into the registration of the company and the formation docs, which tells you what the purpose of the company is. And this company says it's about real estate. So I don't really know what this has to do with a meet and greet. This seems pretty shady. Let me see who signed these docs. Well, it turns out that even though this company is defunct, you can still look at the articles of incorporation. And the articles of incorporation indicate that the registered agent on this business is a man by the name of Dusky Holman. I swear, Dusky Holman. I know what you're thinking. You're like, Candace, this sounds like Better Call Saul. Really? That's what I was thinking. And if you look up the address, it looks like a Better Call Saul. It looks like this is where Better Call Saul was filmed. So I'm like, Dusky Holman is a lawyer. I look it up. He's in Maryland. I'm like, okay, well, this guy checks out. He's got his name on various things. It just sort of seems random, but at least he's a lawyer. And so apparently, lawyers don't do things that are bad, right? Wrong. So I then decide to look up this lawyer, and he is suspended. He's not a lawyer that is allowed to practice. So the business doesn't exist. It's been revoked by Maryland, and the lawyer is suspended. And yet she is given $119,000 after her election to this random company. So I ask her, I'm not even I say to her 1,000 times, I'm not here to try to take you down. I want answers. We deserve answers now, because this now went from you being really nasty to me on Twitter for no reason to this is potentially a federal crime. So you should answer. And I asked her about the stripper thing. I asked her about this random Dusky Holman Pearl Events. That's not an event company, but did a meet and greet that cost $190,000. She's just wild in the background, by the way. She's just saying oh, you're looking into me, things must be bad with you and your husband. And I'm like, okay, cool. Anyways, back to this Pearl Events. Ooh, and then she's like, oh, well, I'm gonna have people looking to Blexit. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's get back to the stripper claim. And she's just all over the place in the background, posting stuff and all that stuff. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to stay calm and I'm going to keep looking into this, because this is a potentially huge story if we're being scammed. So that entire thing makes no sense. And every single person who gave a single dollar to her campaign, plus any conservative, should demand an answer about that charge. Okay. So you think that's it. It's not. I promise you it's not. It gets crazier. It's about to get crazy. So then I sorry, I think I accidentally commented on my own thing. So then I keep looking at it, her report. Again, I'm only 5 lines down. This isn't even crazy. I'm literally I'm still on the first page, and I see 3 accounts again towards the end of her campaign, 3 charges off for $75,000 per charge off. So $75,000 3 times in a row. And that instantly raised a red flag for me, because it's just weird to have a flat charge, $75,000 exactly, 0 cents. That is a weird charge, right? 3 times in a row. I'm like, what cost exactly $75,000 3 times? And then I look a little further down, and again, it's $30,000. And it's all going to a company called Fox and Lion LLC. Okay, cool. So got the stripper part, we got this, but now Fox and Lion LLC, and these just random charges, right? I'm like an FBI, IRS agent at this point, because I'm like, okay, that just seems weird to me. So I'm just going with my instincts, and I hit that charge. And it says that this is for canvassing. Now, again, you might be thinking, okay, maybe for towards the end of her campaign, they fronted the cost, and Fox and Lion LLC did knocking on doors, canvassing, and somehow it cost, about $275,000, and she's paying them very quickly towards the end of her campaign. And I just said to myself, okay, this still seems a little weird. So I'm going to look into this company. And it seems weird because, again, if you look back, she's got other charges for canvassing in Maryland, and they seem more appropriate, $900, $1,000 here, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that sounds about the right cost to get people to knock on doors. $275,000 towards the end of your campaign just seems a little high. again, I don't run for office, so I'm like, maybe this is normal, but this seems like some Maxine Waters paying her daughter type weird stuff. So I'm like, that's my gut. So I'm like, let me go with this because I already have seen that this earlier thing with Dusky Holman, Better Call Saul guy, is shady. So I look into Fox and Lion LLC. Get your pens out, ladies and gents. Get your pens out. And it first comes up right away. It's got a Facebook page, and the Facebook page is weird because it only has 3 posts. And it says, veteran owned, Black owned, we'll help you get elected, like, you know, and we will do like a campaign. So it's pretending at least that it's about politics, but 3 posts is weird. And I then go to the website of Fox and Lion LLC. And the first thing that jumped out at me was this stock photo. Like, I mean, like basic stock photo, like make your own website 101 type stock photo that I literally use in an old blog that I have. And you just get free photos. If you literally Google free stock images, computer, like it's like the first one that comes up. And I was like, that's weird because, like, you know, if this person's making this much money, like, should this website look a little bit differently? And so I check, you know, the Secretary of State again of Maryland to see when this company was registered. It was registered in June of 2020, just a couple of months before her election day. So a brand new company. She decides to go with it. And it says that this company is being run by a man named Andy Pierre. Andy Pierre, this is when things get really strange. Andy Pierre ran for a Democrat House seat in Maryland 2 years ago, well, technically 3 years now, in 2018. So, you know, 2 election cycles ago. And I thought, why would she hire a Democrat, you know, and give them all of this money? And I look at the website, and the website claims to have helped people in the past be elected, all of them Democrats, like the Honorable Judge something Talmadge. But when you click the links, they're all broken. And I was like, that's weird, Fox and Lion LLC. And there's no way you helped get this person elected because that person's been in office for a while. And you have only been in business since June of 2020, according to the Secretary of State filings. So why is this money going to the Democrats? So it's got a number on there. So I'm like, let me just call, right? Ask my manager to call the number. Deadline doesn't exist. Like, it just is like, you know, like beep, beep sound, like this number does not exist. Like, it didn't exactly say something does not exist, but you know what I'm talking about. You can do it. Go to Fox and Lion, look up Fox and Lion LLC, and you will see that it's a completely dead number. And there's nobody else associated with this except for this guy, Andy Pierre. And if you look at where it says it's located, it's a personal address. It's an apartment in Maryland. And so this is clearly, to me, not appearing to be a real business at all, because if you're making that much money, you just started, but you're making $275,000 from Kimberly Klasik's campaign. Like, I don't know. I just feel like you might have a working number so she can respond to you. So I then go to his congressional website from, you know, a couple of years past, and it has another number listed. We call it, it says it's his number. A girl picks up and we're like, hi, is this like Andy Pierre? And she just hangs up the phone, which was super shady. And so I'm like, okay, this is getting really weird. So I was like, well, now he should have filed his tax returns for the past year. So I should be able to look this up. I'm not going to believe this. I go to Secretary of State's website, and this business is not in good standing because it failed to file tax returns. So this business has been around for less than a year and yet decided not to file any tax returns, which is, you know, her charity didn't file tax returns. Pearl Events didn't file tax returns and got his business broke. Now this new business that she's working with failed to file tax returns despite taking $275,000 from the Kimberly Klacik campaign. So that seems weird. So I message her and I ask her specifically about these 2 companies, because just in that alone, you're talking about someone who's taken about $400,000, and it's just completely been moved off the books late in the game of her election, and none of these people can be reached. And it's like smoke and mirrors. It's like, it's crazy. I'm sitting here like, I can't get a single person on the phone. I can't get Dusky on the phone, but he's got $119,000 of Republican money. I can't get Andy Pierre, the Democrat candidate, on the phone, but he's got $275,000 of Republican money. And I now suddenly am blocked on everything. I have asked him these questions. I happen to have her number in my phone because she asked me to endorse her. I never answered her or responded, but I asked her directly because I'm like, you know, at this point, she's like in the background about the stripper stuff, was saying, I'll sue you for defamation. I'm like, can you just say yes or no if it's true or false? She wouldn't say yes or no, wouldn't say true or false, threatened to sue, and then blocked. And so I was like, okay, well, if somebody asked me if I was a stripper, I would just say no. I wouldn't threaten to sue them. I would just be like, no, I'm just not. If somebody asked me about, random corporations, if they were like, Candace, we saw that Blexit paid X amount of dollars to whatever consultant, I'd be like, oh yeah, we definitely talked to that person. Let me get the treasurer on the phone or someone in the board of directors to tell you why we did that move or how that came about. We have an entire board of directors. So I don't even get to oversee my own salary at Blexit. Like all of that has to be approved by the board of investors. And so it just like the whole thing was just weird. And so to me, it's weird when you're giving money to Democrats that are running in Maryland, a Democrat run company, that's nothing with Republican values. And it just seems to me a bit like a scam. Like, and again, I have to say allegedly, but I'm giving you the questions that you can go and you can ask, and those questions would be pertaining to potential me, why it's failed, how it's somehow made no money, but has, as she claimed on Twitter, placed 200 people into positions of power, women, and why they're too vulnerable to ever speak out about the work.
Okay. So that's pretty much the gist of what Candace talks about. So some key points. She talks basically one about her raising $8.2 million in campaign funds, and her whole approach was family values, etc. But now that she's uncovered the fact that she was a former stripper, she feels that she should have been transparent in speaking about that when you're raising funds, talking about family values. We kind of discussed that a little bit earlier. We also talked about these two companies. November 5th, she gives $119,000 to Pearl Events. Pearl Events refused child tax returns. The Secretary of State record shows the company went into forfeit and is registered as a real estate company. That raises an eyebrow for her. So she kind of was very specific on those points. The articles of incorporation show that Dusky Holman's name is on it, who is a lawyer who is suspended. Also, she talks about, excuse me, she talks also about Fox and Lion and 3 transactions in the amount of $75,000. They're registered to a home address, like an apartment. I'm not very in the know about political funds and how that gets dispersed, etc. But I can see her point in pointing it out, that why would it be a specific amount? Why would it be 3 different times if it's for campaigning? And then why are you, a Democrat who's run as a Democrat, and your business, if you've helped all these other people get into place, your company just went into effect in June of 2020, yet these people were already sitting prior to that. So she does raise good points. I mean, that's just my opinion. She raises good points. She also talks about, there's a little part in the video, we didn't watch it. I will post it on Facebook if you guys want to watch the video in its entirety later. It's just if we play the entire video, we're going to be here for 3 hours, and I have to work tomorrow. But so there's another part of the video towards the end where she talks about Kim Klacik using that, using the fact that, oh, it's because of the color of her skin excuse. So it comes in right after this, it comes in the later part of the video. Well, she attempted that once with the GOP, and it was back in February. I pulled it up, I verified it, it is accurate. There is a member of the GOP, her name is Harmeet Dillon. It is Harmeet, last name Dillon. You can look up her Twitter account. It was in February, and her comments to Kim and using the fact that it was about her color, she's like, what are you talking about? She said that she felt like the GOP was not supportive of her based on her skin color, something to that extent. So this Harmeet, her name is pronounced Harmeet Dylan, claps back on Twitter and says, like, what are you talking about? Like, we have supported you. You were given a platform at the RNC.
Right.
So she kind of called her back out then. And this was way before this Candace stuff even came to light. So there has been a few things in me researching just today. There were even some other people who had called her out about being a stripper at the end of last year. But kind of makes you wonder, we were so caught up in what was going on with the election. I've never heard it. I don't remember any media really reporting on it. And for me, especially if you have tea on a Republican, the media thrives on that shit.
Right. That's a good point.
So I'm like,
and also the fact that she wasn't willing to like answer these questions.
Right. So you guys give your opinion, and then as soon as you're done, you can play this video. I got tahini stuck in my throat. I'm hurting.
Go.
On what we just watched, I think I'm gonna wait till after we're done with this because I don't want to piece it together because what I have to say now kind of ties into a few comments that I seen. So I'm good for now. I'm gonna you go ahead. What did you think about it?
It's drama to me. We ready to go?
Yeah, so this is Kim responding to Candace's video. This one is short and sweet. We'll go ahead.
Armstrong Weaver Show. We're on with Kimberly Klacik, who ran for congressman in Baltimore. And the latest is between she and Candace Owens in this public feud. And she has not said anything as a result of the salacious allegations. And this is her first public statement. Kim, welcome to the show. And obviously you're in shell shock from the allegations and the things that are happening to you in your career. Talk to us briefly about what you have to say about all that is going on.
Yes, thank you, Armstrong, first of all, for having me today. I am in shock. My family's in shock. We have private citizens and businesses that have been put under fire. They are also in shock. But we have not actually spoken out until now because we wanted to make sure that we all obtain legal counsel so that we can move forward the correct way and the intelligent way. But, you know, this all started out from a tweet. I think there was some misleading information out there. Some people thought it was from a tweet of Candace's dislike for Juneteenth. That is a lie. That is wrong. This tweet that was sent out, she said that something about Black people being brainwashed and by Democrats and they have to wake up in their communities. I quote tweeted that tweet and I said, you know what? Black people are not brainwashed. A lot of Black people in underserved communities know that it is classism, not racism. I said sometimes the loudest voices with the loudest platforms have the biggest mouths. And I said, you know, this might come as a shock to you because of your lack of engagement in the Black community. That, Armstrong, was the tweet. That is what started all of this. And that's why we're here, I guess, at this point today.
What about the allegations? I don't want to get into this. I mean, that you're some kind of an operative for Republicans and their money and you support Democrats. And obviously what you did in your campaign when you ran for office, you wanted to really understand the communities and you hired an expert who just happens to be a Democratic operative to sort of help you with the messaging.
Correct. If anybody knows anything about running for office, especially a congressional campaign as you do, and so many others do, but this individual, Candace Owens, does not. You hire a Democrat that has the voter information that allows you to see which independents and moderate Democrats are good to target to hopefully go and knock doors, phone calls to persuade for their vote. It is a D+30 district that I ran in. You would have to reach the Democrats in order to flip this district. And so we hired Democrats and Republicans that had this voter information so that we can target everyone that was an active voter in the past 5 years. And that's usually how this works. But again, if you've never run a campaign, if you've never run for office and you've never worked on a campaign, you wouldn't know that. And that is why I am defending that issue, because Candace Owens has never done that.
You know, I know people who know you very well, and they vouch for the fact that you've never been involved with drugs, taking drugs, but yet there's allegations of cocaine use between you and your ex-husband.
Yes. So my husband and I are estranged. We actually separated in October before the November elections. This is not something that I talk about because obviously this is a private matter. My husband is a private citizen. He does not like the spotlight whatsoever. He's a certified public accountant. And so she made the allegations that we were laundering money and doing drugs and recruiting, I guess, women to a adult club, which is basically saying that we are accused of human trafficking. She made all of these allegations about a certified public accountant and a former congressional candidate. She said in this video that she could not verify any of this information. She said that we were partying in a club during the campaign with campaign funds. Armstrong, if she was the detective that she pretends to be, she would know that all of the clubs in Baltimore City were shut down due to the pandemic in Baltimore. So there was no possible way anybody was partying in a club or able to launder money into a club that was completely closed.
You know, I know there are the allegations about your being a former stripper. And, you know, people don't understand, all of us have past. None of us are perfect. We do things in our lives that we're not proud of. But, you know, we're forgiven and we become better people. You're not the person who you were years ago. You're the person who you are today.
That is true. And you know what? I feel bad for all those young women that are now, you know, out there that probably thought, you know, why would she attack other women for doing what they can, maybe to make ends meet? You know, who is she to tell anybody what job they could or could not do when it is legal? You know, it is legal to be an exotic dancer. That's not an illegal job. But I feel bad for all those women that currently have that occupation that probably feel attacked right now.
You know, the main thing we wanted to do was have you on the day, give you a forum to share your perspective instead of not just saying anything. I mean, we wish you well. It's so unfortunate to see two powerful, very accomplished women involved in this kind of feud in the public. There's so few of you who happen to be conservative and who are Black and have this substantial platforms. And you know what? We live in a country where people are innocent until they're proven otherwise. And you should not lose your way of life because of allegations that have not been proven. We wish you well. Certainly, we will continue to have you on our platforms. We appreciate what you do. We appreciate what Candace Owens does because there's room for both of you. And hopefully you can settle this and move on. But we really appreciate your joining the Armstrong Williams Show today for the clarification. And also, just know that you're in our prayers, you're in our thoughts. And we just hope that people don't just discontinue their association with you because of these allegations. I mean, you have so much to offer. And like I said, we wish you well in the future.
If I could say one more thing, Armstrong, I just want to say those private businesses that were accused of not being in good standing during the pandemic and the lockdown, all city and state buildings were closed. That is why they didn't have their standing updated online. They are in good standing. And as COVID restrictions lift, you will see that it just was not updated online. And so that's the information that she was going off of. And I just hope that all those supporters of mine out there and donors and everybody that supported our run and now our PAC understand that I am still the same person they have always known to be. It is saddened that we come to this point that fake news can be produced as real news. But, you know, I am not that person, and they can trust me as usual moving forward.
Thank you so much, Kim Klacik, and we'll be talking to you again in the future. I'm Armstrong Williams.
So somebody mentioned that she never really addressed, which I found a little troublesome with this video. She never really addressed the fact, was she or was she not a stripper? I found pictures of her, the same ones Candace said, and she is in front of a pole. She does have dollars, etc. So the pictures Candace talked about are true. I will say this, as regards the drug things. She took a drug test. This is what you're looking at right here. Talking about her drug use. If you look on it, everything shows that it is negative. This was performed on June 24th, I believe. Yeah, June 24th at 4:12 Eastern Time. But this is her report. Just so that you guys know. She did share this on her Twitter in case any of you guys are looking for it. It is on Kim Klacik's Twitter, so you can look at there. As far as like the FEC stuff, if you want, you can go and you can see that stuff as well. It is on there, just as Candace said. If you go to fec.gov and then you type in the search engine, Kim Klacik, it'll show the funds, etc. You can click on it. So that is also true. I don't know. I kind of don't like the fact that I felt she was very vague. I like he didn't really answer anything other than her like kind of little clap back at Candace. Like I felt it was like petty meeting pettier. You know what I mean?
But Candace admitted that she never had she's never run for a political position, so she doesn't know that part, but in her opinion, just looking at it, it looks like XYZ. So I don't know. Kim pointing that out wasn't really like wasn't really a put down or anything because Candace already pointed that out. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm like just looking at it, I felt like you didn't answer anything. Like, is it just me? Am I the only one? How do you guys in the audience feel? Like, do you guys feel that she answered? Like, do you guys feel that she answered any of the allegations specifically? I feel like just for myself, if someone accuses me of something, I'm going down. I'm making this this is me watching these videos today, right? I'm making notes, right? Like I'm making hella notes. So I'm like, if someone accuses me of something, I'm gonna walk down that road with you. I am going to A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all the way to Z your ass.
Yeah.
To make sure that I address each one. Period. Like you're coming for me, you better make sure you go hard or go home because I'm coming back. Like my clap back is going to be vicious. And I would definitely want to address everything, like in the same way that Candace took time to do, like, what was it, a 40-something minute video? I believe it was like 40-something minutes, right? I would have definitely Candace's video.
Yeah, it was like 44 minutes and some change.
I would have hit that back hard. It didn't have to necessarily be 44 minutes. I would have left the petty shit aside and I would have been like, look here, boo, boo.
Yeah.
And then let's start going through the companies because she said, oh, well, these companies weren't in because everything was closed down. Now they're caught up in their standing. But I'm like, you never talked about who the people were. You never talked about the lawyer being suspended. Like, I didn't feel for myself that she addressed it. I felt she was very vague. I felt like she was deflecting.
Yeah, she definitely didn't straight up answer a question. She didn't straight up say, no, I was not a stripper. She did not straight up say, no, we didn't do drugs that night or that day or whatever. She didn't straight up say that, you know, any of the other things. Like, it was not like, no, I didn't do that. I was doing this or whatever. It was just, this is what happened and this is what we were trying to do, or we're not those type of people, and the pandemic and everything was closed. So how's that possible? But someone made a comment and they said, yeah, it was closed to the public, which I'm assuming means, you know, it's kind of pointing to the fact that who's to say you didn't pay that, you know how like celebrities buy out clubs and stuff and stores. Event. Yeah, a private event. Who's to say that it wasn't a private event? People were having private events all year through the pandemic. Even celebrities, all of them.
Even our governor.
Yeah, everyone was having private events or whatever. So she didn't necessarily clarify that either. There's that.
Do you guys think that you got any clarification from her video?
A little bit. Like, I think when it came to, so one thing I liked with the video was when she brought up the Democratic.
Oh yeah, using a Democrat to help you figure out which people to target to hopefully sway into for your favor for the election.
So I'm not sure, like, because again, I'm not in politics, so I wouldn't know. But hell, I mean, if I had the money to do it, and people do, there's a lot of people that you put the right dollar amount out there, they're going to work for you. So I think she brought up a good point. I think she bringing up the fact that, hey, we hired this Democrat to, help us try to bring in Democratic voters. And they also hired Republicans. I bought into that. So I'm like, yeah, okay, I can see that, because if it were me running, I think I would do that, because I would want to be able to reach everybody. And if that's where you got to get the information at, then what dollar amount do we have to throw to it, and can we afford it? And from the looks of it, I mean, she could afford it, so they probably tossed that person a bunch of money. Outside of that, I mean, yeah, she didn't answer the rest of them, and I think that's where she lost most people. Like I said, there was just that one thing for me. That one thing for me was the only thing that seemed like it had any credibility.
And now that you brought that up, like I get that. Like I get, like, you want to know the people that are going to, if that is the case, right? You want the people that are going to show you the ropes on how you can get the public. But I think for me, it doesn't answer how this company is claiming they have all these people that successfully got into office, but we just opened in June of 2020. You know what I mean? Like that part still lingers for me. The fact that these people are in office, you help these people, you're so great at what you do, so you help these people, but yet you just started this LLC of June of 2020. So where is your record prior to that? So that I feel like is still out there. And then I kind of feel, in a sense too, even with that answer, I get it. I could understand that, but I think, wouldn't that be someone helping run your campaign and know the ins and outs of your campaign, and they're on the other side? For me, I don't know. That doesn't sit well with me. Like, to me that I feel like that's a rhino in the making, to be honest. But that's just me. That's just my thought. Like, there's been so much, like, typical ways that politicians do things, and I think for myself, I want to get away from that typical way politicians roll. I scratch your back, you scratch my back. Hell no. If you ain't on the same team as me, you definitely not being a part of my blessed campaign.
How long was she running for,
that's just me. I'm sorry?
How long was she running for, though?
Kim Klacik, I don't know. I can look it up really quick. When she decided to run?
Well, I can't even really say when either, though, because I didn't really jump right into politics until last year anyways, when everything was going on, and started doing this with you guys.
I honestly, I think she just popped up. Last year. She might have been doing it before, but I honestly remember her because of her big
video.
Right. That was at the RNC, no?
No, I think
just before that.
They were showing it just before that.
Just before that, and that was the only time I was like, okay, who is this? And then so the point that Candace, one of the points that she made was how late in her run some of these pushes were. But I don't know. I know that there are other Democrats who made really big pushes towards politicians, whatever, people that were running. I know that they made like a real big push towards the end as well. So I don't know.
So I believe it is August. No, not August. I'm sorry. Yeah. I think August of 2020.
Wait, what?
I'm trying to look back to see when she decided to start running.
Yeah, I don't think she came out until sometime. At least I thought it was sometime around summer or not too long.
It says August from what I see. Like August 19th of 2020 is what I'm finding. I still could be wrong. Does anyone know when she decided to come out and start running? I'm looking.
Because that
someone
would
said
be
she's
like,
definitely or no.
yeah, because that would be kind of, I don't know. I mean, if she had been pushing for a while and hadn't really been getting a whole lot of attention or exposure or whatever.
Yeah, but we got to think about it. The first time that you seen her video.
Oh, maybe that's when her video hit. Maybe her video hit in August.
But she had to have been doing a lot of work before then in order to build the funds that she had to produce that and to get that out as far as she did. Like that was a lot of money to get her on social media platforms, to get that video running, to get it on national networks. I mean, where they're playing this. She did a lot. I mean, whatever she did up to that, she did enough to do that much. So, let me take that off.
Well, no, I didn't know if you wanted to. I thought you wanted to share that.
No, that was the end of Kim Klacik's video.
Oh, okay. I thought it was something you wanted to share. Sorry. But yeah, so I don't know. For me, like going through this, like I think that there were some low blows on both sides because she was like, well, if you never run for politics, you would never know that, whatever. And maybe that's true, right? Maybe that holds water. Candace has never run. Candace said, hey, I've never run. I don't know. But I think like a solid amount. I thought Candace brought up good points. I want to say that I tend to believe Candace more than I do Kim Klacik. And only because Candace is kind of like, I don't know, I just think she's a fucking boss. And don't get me wrong, but she came out with specifics, right? She told you, go to the FEC's website. She told you, look up these companies, look up their names. She gave you specific shit to look for.
Right, right.
And I don't know if being who Candace is, want to ruin something by trying to throw lies out there. Does that make sense? Like, I don't know if she would want to ruin where she is as a person if just for shits and giggles.
Right. Like, what does she have? Like, I guess that's a question. Like, what does she have to lose by uncovering this? Or gain, I mean, what?
Right.
The same? Both?
Yeah, I think it's both.
You know what I mean? Like, what how is it going to hurt her? But also, what does she gain? Especially if she's not running for anything. They're not even in the same area, are they?
No, I don't believe so. That's actually a really good point, because I think typically when we look at stuff like this, like, oh, what do they have to lose? And in this situation, what does she have to gain? She gains nothing from it. She's not a political figure, so it's not getting her a step up. And what does she have to lose for it? Her credibility. So, I mean, that's a good way of looking at it. So I think she does have a little bit more to stand on, because there's nothing in it for her but the possibility of losing something. So
yeah, so there's that.
One of Candace's biggest points, like kind of, she said it in the beginning and then she kind of did it again at the end, was that her values, Kim Klacik's values, didn't match what she claimed during her campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I guess she felt that Republicans needed to know it because they backed her based on her values. And in this video that she does, and I went through her Twitter as well. Like I did go through Kim Klacik's Twitter. There was some like stuff still thrown in. There was stuff that was been erased now. And I think that if I'm up front, I'm not erasing shit. Like if I said what I said, I said what I said. And when you're ready to pull the receipts, pull them. Let's get it. You know what I'm saying? Like so for me, that just I don't know. Just for me, that strikes. And like I said, I have no win or lose in this. You know what I'm saying? I'm just people ask, what did I think about it? And this is just my personal opinion. Again, it doesn't have to be right. It doesn't have to be wrong. But for me, I just don't feel like if someone, I don't, it just makes me, it literally makes me scratch my head. If someone's coming for me that hard, where like, first of all, they're saying you're a stripper. They said that supposedly this other stripper said you were using drugs with your husband in the strip club. I did show, because I want to be very fair and transparent, that she did show a drug test that she took on the 24th. Now, mind you, I don't know how long drugs stay in your system, but if this was back last year, boo-boo, the drug test is irrelevant. I'm just saying.
Right.
But she did it, right? She didn't have to do it. She did it. Do I think that she would be on drugs? Probably not, right? That'd be pretty stupid. But we have seen a lot of stupid things in the world. I mean, it is what it is. I just don't think that if someone's going after me and my husband, and then not only that, but you're going after my character and my morals, my standards, my values, like, because I feel Candace came out kind of swinging. Like Candace came out swinging on multiple points. And I was expecting more from Kim. And maybe she feels she doesn't need to defend herself. I don't know. But I just felt that there was not enough. I just don't feel like, I think she said less because it's less incriminating. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think she did just enough to suffice.
Like put it in a little box and put a bow on it.
Yeah. And without doing too much, because honestly, what I got from it, like, so stripper, exotic dancer, same, right? She never admits to it, but she does make that statement or the claim of there's, it's not illegal, right? There's not
to be an exotic dancer.
To be an exotic dancer. So without saying that she's one, she's saying
that she understands them.
She understands them and that it's not illegal, and it's not. But if you were, and that's a part of your story, and I'm big, like, for me, it's like, hey, if you're going to put yourself out in the open, then you might as well air out the business that people know. Like, there might be stuff that happened in your house that nobody knows, but if you've done stuff in public, you might as well air some of that out, because if not, people will use it against you. And I say that because I ran for union president twice now, and one of the things that has happened, like, and I've only lost by like 6 or 7 votes, right? And it's a tough battle. It's very political. But the one thing that I did, knowing that I was going to be bashed, is I'm very open with people. So there's things that I know were said. I aired out. Yeah, I aired out some of my business. Yeah, this stuff happened in my life. And, this lady that I was running against, she's got 15, 20 years on me, and she's going to use this stuff against me. So you have to be wanting, when you're going to put yourself out there in that position, you have to be willing to, you gotta be open to letting some personal stuff out. Because if you don't, or when it comes out and you don't, admit it, and you beat around the bush, then people question you, and you lose your credibility. And that was the one part in that video where when she didn't really want to answer it. I won't say one part, but there were several. But that was one that really stuck to me, where I'm like, man, you should have just been open and said, yeah, hey, I was an exotic dancer, and I decided to change my, I wanted to do something better. Have you seen Baltimore? It's crap. And that's why I danced and I did what I did. But she did it. So, yeah.
I agree with you 100%. I just expected more, you know what I mean? And not that I wanted the cat fight, because I could do without the cat fight, right? And I think that what Armstrong said in his video when he was interviewing Kim was that there's room for both of you. Like, I think there's room for both of you. He didn't want to get into certain things, but I just felt like that's the one thing you came back with. And all over, if you look at her Twitter, everybody go to her Twitter. You could look at it yourself. And when you look at her Twitter, it talks about her like, oh, I addressed A, B, C, and D. And now that I saw that video, this is like the third time I saw it. I was like, boo, where? Is there another video or not? Because I really didn't hear you address anything, except for the part that Chris mentioned when she talked about hiring a Democrat. And again, I'm just over the whole circle, you know, the regular wheel of politics, where this is the way we do it. Well, guess what? It ain't been working because our country is fucked up. So I'm tired of the way we've been doing it. And again, I would hate for her to be a rhino in the making, because we don't need that. And I feel rhinos in the making are opportunists, right? That's just my personal opinion. They're about the money. They don't give a shit about the people. So for me, because of the fact that she didn't come back clapping in regards to just addressing it doesn't have to be even petty. Like, I can totally eliminate the pettiness, but I want to hear facts. Like, here's my receipt. Boom. Here's my receipt, Candace. Boom. Like, I took notes, and this has nothing to do with me.
You mean kind of like how Candace was like, she tried to threaten me with, well, I'll look into your nonprofit, and Candace was like, go ahead. The name is Klacik. You can find it right over there. I have a website. Okay, well, I'm going to do this. Go ahead.
Bring it.
No. You know what I mean? Like, just if that's not what it is, then just be like, that's not what it is. It's this. This is what's going on. I don't know. I think what it really just comes down to is that there's a lot of loose ends that don't make sense. And that's why we're having this conversation.
Yeah, and Gina, I want to kind of address this real quick because you just made me think about it again. But she did start going into the whole, well, I feel sorry for the women. And she started talking about, or for the young girls out there who had to do certain to make ends meet, etc. Candace didn't say anything bad about those women, right? What Candace said was she was talking about you and what you ran on, talking about family values, and she was calling your ass on it. That's what it was. Let's not drag everybody else into it or try to make it where that Candace was talking about people who decide to be a stripper, because in the beginning of that video, she clearly says, now, if that was your story and that's where you started, and now you've come from A to B, say that. So, yeah, for me, like I said, that's where the little petty and the cattiness comes. I could do without it. Just answer A, B, C, and D. Thank you. That's for me. So, to me, she left me with like nothing. I'm like, girl, you could have just not even did that video. To be honest.
Can you throw up Melissa Seals' comment? We're all sick of drama.
Melissa, 4 from the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
Got it.
This one, we're all sick of the drama. Be honest and accountability. That's what we want. And I think people have they mistaken drama and accountability. They mistake drama for somebody speaking up against somebody else. And I know, so like, and I don't really talk too much about what I do on the outside, but on a little bit about work, like I'll step up and say stuff, and people are like, oh man, you always want drama. No, there's a difference. Drama to me is being petty and attacking a situation with really, you're not really trying to gain or win anything for no reason. You're being, it might be maybe personal. You might want to see somebody get hurt or something, or you just like a mess in your life. You know, there's many reasons why, you know, people will bring drama, but there's a difference between that and then speaking up and holding somebody accountable, speaking up and standing firm in what you believe. And occasionally, okay, you might put out some facts, you might, raise your voice, but there's a big difference if you have an end result that in mind. If your end result is to put something out there to make things better or to show people that there's fraud, that is not drama. And I think people mistake those. And that's why I agree with Melissa. Like, what we want is accountability. And that's kind of what I like. That's what I liked about what Candace did, is because it wasn't trying to cause drama. I didn't even see it as drama as much as I seen it. Okay, she's just trying to hold somebody accountable. And she's willing to come up and say, hey, I have proof. Go look at this. And push some facts out there and then stand her ground and on what she believes. So, but it's nice to see that, I think a lot of us do understand it. Like, we're tired of it. We want accountability.
And I think that's on, I think that's on many, 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 many levels, way beyond what's happening here. I think just in life, right?
Yeah.
We want that. Will they go to court over this? I don't know. I don't know if Kim has threatened her with defamation, etc. Whether they do, that's to be seen. If they do, we will let you know about it. We will talk about it. But that being said, I think we're kind of like, I don't know, I think we're on the same page pretty much, right? Like, I got nothing from that second at all. But when I tell you I took notes, I got a whole list of notes for Candace's video. You know what I got for Kim's? I'll tell you right here. A big old goose egg. That's what I got. A big old 0. That's what I got. Nothing. Girl, save the video. Nah. Anyways, but as far as drama, we just want to be not drama free, because every now and then drama slips in somewhere, but we want to give you guys what we know. We want to give you both sides. We want to give you guys the facts on both sides so that you can make an informed decision. Again, we are here to help you to plant a seed so that you can think for yourself, or use the resources that we talk to you guys about, so that you can look at it for yourself. We don't want you to be like us. John Tisha doesn't want you to be like her. Chris doesn't want you to be like him. I don't want you to be like me. We just want to plant a seed and make you guys think, look at the bigger picture. There are two sides to this story. And somewhere in between, there's the truth. So take all that, look into it. Look at Kim's Twitter. Look at Candace's Twitter. Look at the videos that they put out there. Look at what other people saying. I know Brandon Tatum did a video on this. I know other people have done videos on this. There's a small video. I'm not going to show it because we're already past an hour and 30 minutes. But there is a small video. I think I sent it to you, John Tisha and Chris, where people were, it was like, if you were looking up what was going on between the two of them, it was little clips. Someone took little clips of Kim when she was a stripper.
Oh.
So this is the thing, like, I don't have anything against strippers. I don't even care that she was a stripper. I'm not an extreme conservative. I'm not one of those people that are be like, oh, God said you're going to hell if you're showing your goodie bits. I'm not one of those people. I think God's going to love me. Yeah, your goodie bits. God's going to love me whether I show my goodie bits or not. But so I just think if that's what you're going to do, get in front of that shit. Own it. To me, one of the most valuable things of a person is owning their shit, is owning it. If you did the shit, say it. Be honest about it, because I can respect that more than somebody lying and then me finding out later you lied. Like, no, we're all adults, right? Once you're an adult, there's no reason to lie. Your mom ain't gonna hit you with thank you and put you on fucking timeout. You're an adult. Say what you mean and mean what you say.
Exactly.
Oh, wow, she used to shake that. Never mind. Hey,
that's what I'm looking at. Jonathan he cracks me up sometimes.
Jonathan, there's video on it, boo. I saw it. I saw it. I saw it with my own eyeballs, burned right through my eyeballs. But anyways, on that note, we want to thank you guys. Goody bits, period, goody bits. We want to thank you guys for being with us tonight. We appreciate all the love and the support and the shares. We thank you. If you are going to share our video, please make it public. If you make it public, other people can see it beyond your friends. It doesn't have to be for everything on your page. It will just be that particular video. So if you would do that, we would greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate you. And it will open up more people to our show. That being said, I'm going to leave you guys with this. I had it up, but it dropped after a little while.
Oh, hey, hold on real quick, because I said earlier that I didn't want to leave a comment in case somebody starts watching this and then waits for the end. But I just want to put something out because, oh man, I know it was right. It was during Candace's video. And pretty much what it came down to, and it was one of the comments, it was conservatives kind of holding each other accountable, right? So I just want to point this out to everybody that kind of the question that I thought of as I was reading the comments and watching the videos, why are we divided as a whole? And then I seem like Dems have a united front, right? But what I want people to understand is that Democrats, they do a lot of fighting backstage, but the media doesn't highlight those things. So the reason why I believe we didn't see Kim Klacik, or we didn't know that she was a stripper, is because they didn't want us to know. They didn't want the attention taken off of whatever else was going on at the time, whether it be Black Lives Matter or Trump. So why push the attention somewhere else? So yes, it may have been out there to say, yeah, no, we mentioned it, you just didn't see it. Just like I want to say sometime last year, I think Hillary Clinton went to court. I have to double check that, but nobody even knew about it.
She did.
Yeah, they didn't really show anything, and it would catch people off guard if you went and watched to try to look it up. It was during the riots over the computers and stuff. So I understand Dems look like they look like they have a united front, but just remember, backstage they're fighting and the media supports them. The problem that Republicans have is that they don't seem like they have a united front because they're silent and they don't say nothing. And it's kind of sad. Like when you see Candace Owens, she's not attacking her. She's just bringing something up, right? So I think that's what we need more of, more accountability, not just Republican versus Republican or Democrat versus Democrat. Like, I honestly wish more people would just be independent and just leave the two parties behind and just start holding people accountable, period. And I think if we could get that far, the one thing that will unite us is if we have common goals, morals, standards, ethos, something. Because right now, nobody really has it. I mean, small groups of us might have common values, but it's not enough of us to make a difference. So that's what I just want to leave you with. So if you go back and watch the video, that's what I was going to say earlier. Now that we wrapped it all up,
now that you said that, someone did say that to me earlier when I posted it on the show. When I posted that it was in the show, if you look at the comment box, someone said, "Well, like Democrats, they're always together. They're kind of like ride or dies, right? Like what they hate to see the division that's happening within the Republican Party." But my comment to that was, this is not new to the Republican Party. We have seen division within the Republican Party, hence the term rhinos, right? We don't align with them. We feel like they're in Republican outfits. So speaking again, just for the record, I am not a Republican, nor am I a Democrat. I will vote based on policy and whatever aligns with my standards and morals. I think Chris is 100% right that just because Candace and Kim are Republicans does not mean you ride or die for each other if you are on some bullshit. I'm sorry, but I think that is why we are in the position we are currently today. And I think that it does need to be called out because silence is compliance, period. So on that note, we are going to leave you guys once again. We're going to leave you guys with this. Have a great night. Thank you guys so much for watching. We appreciate you. Please don't forget to like and share our video. Follow us on YouTube. We would greatly appreciate it. And we will see you guys in our next show.